Hello everyone. Welcome to the module on cardiovascular anatomy. Now in the anatomy of heart, the left atrium is the posterior most part of the heart. Okay, and hence the enlargement of this left atrium leads to a condition in which there is a compression of the esophagus. Now the esophagus gets compressed, which leads to difficulty in swallowing called as dysphagia. Okay. This enlargement of left atrium can also lead to compression of a nerve, which is the left recurrent laryngeal nerve, which is a branch of the vagus nerve, and hence would be presented as hoarseness of voice. Always remember that if there is compression of left recurrent laryngeal nerve, then it is always presented as hoarseness of voice, and it is seen in Ortner's syndrome. Now the right ventricle is the anterior most part of the heart, and hence it is the most common site of injury during trauma. So if there is a case of trauma of chest, then the most likely part to be injured is going to be the right ventricle. Is it clear? Now let's talk about the pericardium. The pericardium consists of three layers, which is the fibrous pericardium, the parietal layer of the serous pericardium, and the visceral layer of the serous pericardium. So between these two layers, there is pericardial cavity. And always remember that the pericardium is innervated by the phrenic nerve. This is very important. So the pericardium is always innervated by the phrenic nerve. Now what is pericarditis? Pericarditis is the inflammation of this pericardium. Now what happens during pericarditis is the phrenic nerve gets damaged, and which leads to referred pain to the neck, arms, or one or both shoulders. It is usually on the left hand side. Is it clear till now? Now let's talk about the coronary blood supply. This is one of the most important sections of cardiovascular anatomy. In this, let's start with the coronary sinus. Let me just zoom into this diagram. Okay. From the coronary sinus, there are two kinds of blood vessels that arise. One is the left coronary artery, which comes on the left side, and the other one is the right coronary artery. The left coronary artery gives its first branch called as the left anterior descending artery. Further on, it gives a branch called as the left circumflex artery and left marginal artery, or the obtuse marginal artery. Is it clear till now? The right coronary artery gives a branch called as the acute marginal artery. Here it is obtuse marginal artery. In the right side, it is the acute marginal artery. Now, the left anterior descending artery supplies the 2/3 of the interventricular septum and the anterolateral papillary muscles, which is on the anterior surface of the left ventricle. I'll again repeat, the left coronary artery supplies the 2/3 part of the interventricular septum, anterolateral papillary muscles of the heart, and the anterior surface of the left ventricle. It is the most common artery to get occluded. Now let's talk about the posterior descending artery. So posterior descending artery is usually, I again repeat, it is usually the branch of right coronary artery. Look at the posterior diagram of the heart. Here we can see at this artery, this is the posterior descending artery, which is a branch of right coronary artery, which supplies the AV node. Okay. Now this posterior descending artery can either be a branch of the right coronary artery. If it is a branch of right coronary artery, it is called as right dominant circulation, and this is in 85% of the cases. So usually the posterior descending artery is a part of right coronary artery. Now, if the posterior descending artery comes from the left circumflex artery, it is called as left dominant circulation, which is seen in 8% of the patients. If these two arteries, that is the left circumflex artery and the right coronary artery, join together and form the posterior descending artery, it is called as codominant circulation, which is seen in 7% of the individuals. Now, is it clear about the dominance part? If the artery, the posterior descending artery, comes from the right coronary artery, it is called as right dominant. If it comes from the left circumflex artery, it is called as left dominant. And if it is conjoint or codominant, that is, it comes from both the left circumflex and the right coronary artery, it is called as codominant circulation. Now, since the PDA, that is the posterior descending artery, is dependent on the dominance, hence it is called as dependent on dominance. Hence the AV node, that is the atrioventricular node, which is supplied by the posterior descending artery, is also dependent on the dominance. Now let's talk about which regions of the heart does the posterior descending artery supply. The posterior descending artery supplies the posterior 1/3 of the interventricular septum and the posterior 2/3 walls of the ventricles. Is it clear? The anterior 2/3 is supplied by the left anterior descending artery. Okay. Now let's talk about the right coronary artery, which supplies the sinoatrial node. The right coronary artery supplies the sinoatrial node, but since it is not dependent on the dominance like the posterior descending artery, it is independent of dominance. Hence, the sinoatrial node is always supplied by the right coronary artery, whereas the AV node can be either a part of from the left coronary artery or the right coronary artery. Is it clear? Now, the infarct may cause a nodal dysfunction, that is bradycardia or the heart block. The right marginal artery supplies the right ventricle. Is this statement clear? That is, the right marginal artery, which is a acute marginal artery, supplies the right ventricle. This is all about the coronary blood supply of the heart. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, please click on the like button and do subscribe to this channel. Let me know in the comment section below which topics do you want me to explain. Thank you.